Yeah.
And we're back. Back at you with another WAN show. How's it going? Hope your day's been great. We got some news for you.
Such news. Intel invests $1 billion to meet 14-nanometer demand this year.
$1 billion. Also, the Amazon anti-union video has leaked. They sent it to Whole Foods or something.
Controversial. Elon Musk getting sued. Not by just some little backyard yokel either.
Yeah,
by the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. Because he's been fraudulent. Yeah, we'll get into that.
No sex, no drugs, no violence.
No money from me then.
On Apple's streaming service. We'll talk about that later as well. It's time for the intro.
Ah. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez, tune it in.
People think I have a soundboard shot. Remember soundboards? Remember? Honey! Freshbooks!
Savage Jerky!
Savage Jerky.
Wait, did I do that right? I did. So I do remember
soundboard prank calls?
Yeah.
Remember? They sounded so bad to the people who were getting called. If you had the soundboard, you're sitting there, you got your computer speaker up to the phone, you're just going, "Hi, how are you? I'm a cop, you idiot." And the person, you're losing it. You're losing it. And the person on the phone's like, "Huh?" Like, it sounds bad.
Like a terrible speaker recording. What's happening? I used to love, what was it called? So there was the Ventrilo voice service. I used to love Ventrilo.
Is that like you type in and it speaks out?
No. This is like before Discord. I think TeamSpeak. I don't know if TeamSpeak was around when Ventrilo was originally around, but like they eventually became like the two platforms for a while, and then people kind of left Ventrilo, and it was TeamSpeak for a while, and then Skype and all this other kind of stuff came around, and then Discord finally got rid of Skype and all that junk. But back in the day, there was Ventrilo.
The name is ringing a bell, and I just don't know.
And one of my favorite things used to be, because you could bind keys on your keyboard to Soundboard to play through as if you were saying
sweet.
It. So it totally got rid of that like quality issue that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And people could get like,
you could have a levels issue still.
You could, but if people like tone it in, all that kind of stuff. And there was people who would do Ventrilo pranks.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh wait, is that the one, the Duke Nukem one?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Yeah.
Ventrilo harassment. Yeah, that's what they call it. Duke Nukem style.
You gonna put that on your screen? Put it up. Yeah, there's a famous one.
Ventrilo pranks. This Duke Nukem style one was huge.
Okay, the person he's talking to on that one, is it
9 million views, and this was uploaded in 2007.
Is that a boy or a girl?
This was big.
That he's talking to.
I
always thought it was a young boy. Some people think it's a girl.
We can't. Who knows?
People, isn't there a name for the person, like Debbie or something?
I don't know.
Whoa!
All right, we're not gonna play it.
I'm here to chew gum.
Oh, jeez.
I love that. Everyone should watch that.
That person's angry. But there's some really good ones. One of my favorite one is just someone has a soundboard of this like random girl just talking about nothing important. And it was my favorite because he would just jump into channels and like the classic nerd like, oh my god, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, and it would just be like, yeah, like on Fridays sometimes me and my friends will like go to the store and I'll like buy a chocolate bar, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool!" It was just, oh man,
I have heard that.
I just used to love it.
One time we were pranking people with the soundboards, and we're just about done, and then my friend goes, "One more," and he dials it in, and we're using a soundboard from the movie Phone Booth.
Okay, yeah.
It was a Kiefer Sutherland movie with Colin Farrell, right? Is that his name? Will Ferrell, Colin Farrell.
Colin Firth?
No, Colin Firth is the dude from Pride and Prejudice. Anyway, the movie is there's a dude in a phone booth, and then the guy he's talking to on the phone allegedly has a sniper rifle pointed at him, so he stays in the phone booth the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's a soundboard based on that, and it's a creepy soundboard. And we call this person, and it's a woman who answers, and then the soundboard's real creepy. It's saying like,
Colin Farrell, yeah.
I have a .32 caliber, like semi-automatic sniper rifle pointed directly at you. Like,
oh my goodness!
Obviously, gun nuts. I don't know guns. I know the stats are wrong or whatever, but it's really bad.
You could have gotten in a lot of trouble for this.
And So okay, it's like mildly funny. We prank this person, we hang up. A little while later, so as soon as I tell you what happens next, you're gonna understand what happened. But I didn't understand for weeks. A few weeks later, or a while later, my mom was like, your friends, tell your friends not to call here, or like, some creep called me and told me all this stuff, and I was like, shut up, Mom. What are you talking about? And then I was like, my buddy, I pranked my own mom. My friend typed in my mom's number, and I didn't even. I remember.
You didn't recognize a voice?
I remember when she picked up, thinking like, "Do I know that person?" But I didn't. I didn't actually recognize the voice. And yeah, I pranked my own mom, and then I didn't even realize.
Oh my!
There's so many points in the story where I could have realized.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Anyways, actual topics. If you want to go down an awesome, hilarious rabbit hole on YouTube, and you don't mind some bad language, because sometimes the people reacting get pretty angry, check out Ventrilo harassment. Really funny. Some of them suck, but some of them are really funny.
But here's the other thing about my mom.
Oh,
she thought it was real. She didn't know it was a soundboard like everybody else. She thought, like, she may not have thought that was actually happening to her, but she thought that she was talking to a person, not a soundboard.
Yeah.
So I remember being like, this doesn't make sense.
Come on.
All right, anyway, real news.
My favorite one, if you guys can find it, is a guy's talking in WoW, and one of his friends records him talking over Ventrilo and just plays back himself talking just to like mess with him. And there was one part where he goes like, I think it's like 3 strength, 3 strand leather belt, and then goes like, and the guy recorded like that his weird voice thing at the end and his statement, and just constantly played it back to him. Just drives him nuts. It's hilarious.
Now that you say that, it all makes sense. I have a friend who used to say those words all the time, and I never knew what it was from.
The leather belt thing.
Yeah. I was like, what are you saying?
Hilarious.
This is like a decade ago.
I haven't heard it in probably 10 years, so I don't remember the exact line, but it's something like that.
There's all those. Man. You ever have those weird memes that like you say for years and years, and then you don't even like. I'm not even sure if I saw this video, but one thing I still say once in a while is, "Oh my god, I love the map Dust." It's just like a same deal, but from CS.
Yeah.
Like what?
Level 18, 4 strength, 2 stam leather belt. Yeah, there we go. Heck yeah, I love it. Anyways, the Intel. They invest $1 billion to meet 14 nanometer demand. Bob Swan, Intel's CFO and interim CEO, if you watch previous WAN shows, you'll know that the CEO left the company, issued an open letter to the company's customers and partners today. In the letter, he addressed tight supply on some of the company's products, mainly their lower-end entry-level stuff.
They admit it.
Outlining the set of actions Intel is taking to tackle this problem. He said that there is a surprising return to PC TAM, or the total addressable market, like the amount of people interested in buying, as far as I know. There's PC TAM growth, which there hasn't been since, I believe, 2011.
It's modest growth.
Like
in his letter, he cites all these different stats of, like, our cloud computing business grew 25% this year, or something else grew 43%, but then they don't say what the PC business grew. They just say, I think, modest growth.
I think the point isn't necessarily that it's like, oh, it's so huge. It's that it's growing at all. We haven't had any PC TAM growth for like the last 7 years. So that is a pretty big deal regardless. And it wasn't expected, as it hasn't happened, in 7 years. And a lot of speculators have been saying that it wouldn't. But they're thinking that it's fairly natural. It's from the interest of people into gaming and all these other things.
Well, the spin that he puts on it is that like they're doing such a dang good job that people are so interested in the new CPUs that everybody wants to upgrade.
Totally, man. Yeah, that's definitely it. Maybe it's just that everyone's 2600Ks are just finally getting too old. Maybe that's it. There's also Intel is also prioritizing production of Xeon and Core processors to serve the high performance segments of the market. We'll get into why that matters later. And supply in general is tight, particularly, like we already said, in the entry level PC market. Intel believes they have at least the supply to meet the full year revenue outlook expected in July, which was 4.5 billion higher than their January expectations.
So this reassurance that he issued everybody apparently has inspired confidence, because their stock price went up like between 3 and 5% at the same time that AMD's went down. So it appears to be a zero-sum game. So I guess Intel went from like $45 to $47, and then AMD went from 33 to 30 or something like that. Last time I checked, that was a few hours ago though. So I guess it's good. People believe the Bops won, but why don't we break down just exactly what's happening here from a manufacturing perspective?
So when you're running in a fab, there's a certain amount of wafers of CPU cores you can make, or dies you can make per month. Essentially, that's your output, is how many of these wafers you can put out per month. And a CPU that has way more cores on it is like literally going to physically take up more of that wafer.
Right.
So if they want to
so one wafer is going to have fewer dies on it.
If they want to have these bigger CPUs,
which they are, because they're worth more money to them.
That's where they get more profit. And there is an increase of demand for those CPUs. I think AMD has done a great job of marketing CPUs with higher core counts, which is great, because that's awesome, because I think everyone wants that. And people are jumping on board and wanting Intel's version of those kind of high core count CPUs as well, which is increasing demand and taking up more space on these wafers.
Right.
You also brought up something earlier, which is where like if you take up like you need a block, so if you take up a corner,
it's like if you had a bucket and you're filling it with Lego and you had those giant Lego pieces, you might only get like 8 of them in your bucket. But if you had the same like weight of Lego blocks, but they were tiny pieces, they would all just fit in so much more nicely.
Which is why they're gonna mix up, like there's the binning process, and they're going to mix up, like they're going to have some of the smaller ones edging out corners and the bigger ones and stuff. But as you put more of these bigger ones in, you are reducing the overall amount of real estate.
Like the absolute number of cores you can put on a wafer is reduced when the die size is bigger. But you're saying they're going to mix them up. Have you ever seen one of those cross sections? I used to work at a place in forestry, and they had a poster on the wall that showed a cross section of, like, I guess it was like a lumber industry poster.
Oh,
and
like how they split
it showed a log. Like
you
cut a log down, and they showed all the little like 2x4s. A 2x4 will go there, and a 4x6 will come out of the middle. Yeah, that might be relatable to you.
I love those like explosion things. Yeah, whatever.
What's that?
Either way, when you take like a car or a log, in that case or whatever, and you explode it, you pull all the parts apart so you can see like where everything is and stuff. It's cool. I think I know what poster you're talking about. I think I've seen the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Every kid had that on their wall.
Yeah. We're all from like forest land, Canada. So yeah, each wafer can have multiple CPUs, as we were saying. Blah, 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 blah. This is just a bunch of what we were just saying.
Yeah, so all of that is on the 14 nanometer die. So they are trying to allocate... Yeah, the 14 nanometer node, I should say. And they're trying to get as many of the fabs on the 14 nanometer node to produce these high-end Core i9 and Xeon 28 core chips. What happened because of that was that the low end of the market, like the HCL3? Yeah, no, H310C. Jesus. That lower end chip got the shaft because it's on the same node, but it's not getting any priority because it doesn't make them as much money. So in order to meet demand for that, they made a completely new node, a 22 nanometer version, just to get the supply up of that. Meanwhile, they're still trying to focus on the 10 nanometer node, which they say they're making gains on. I don't think that they can't afford to not spend money on that.
Yeah.
So this new $1 billion,
that's just on top of...
It's on top of $14 billion that they already they already put out for cap expenditure in 2018. So this total of $15 billion is the actual record. And this $1 billion can be put into the various fabs in Oregon, Arizona, Ireland, and Israel that produce on the 14 nanometer node. Is it...
Crazy.
How much is that going to make a difference? Is it a lot? No one knows how they're spending the money.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And where's the money coming from? Is it just in their own coffers?
I mean, probably.
Do you think they had just enough like revenue kicking around? Do they have to take it from shareholder dividends?
I doubt it.
Do they have to reallocate it from a different
cash
area?
In the bank?
Just like, okay.
We'll just drop a cool $1 billion. Boom. Yeah. I'm sure they've got money in reserve. And if they're like, hey, we need to crank up production because we're just going to make a ton of money because we'll sell everything that we make if we crank up production with $1 billion, then that's a pretty safe bet, I guess. If they're like, we are not going to be able to produce enough,
It's low risk.
match supply. Yeah, exactly. And if they're like, hey, we can spend $1 billion, and that will make it so that we can produce enough to match the demands. And then they're just like, hey, well, we just get to sell a whole crap ton more CPUs.
Yeah.
And make up the money.
They must have the money sitting around, because if it was the case that they had to like
Dude, how much
sell back their own stock, then you would have seen the stock price dip, and that didn't happen. So it can't be that. You know?
This is one of my favorite things to look up.
You're googling. What are you googling? How much money does Nintendo have in the bank?
That's only as of 2015 though. So
Nobody can see what you're looking at.
No, I know. I just wanted to look up the number. So like one of my favorite things to talk about every once in a while is Nintendo, because Nintendo, I suspect compared to Intel, they're a relatively small company in terms of
CapEx or market cap.
Market cap, capital expenditure as well, for sure. Probably even literally just like employees. I don't know, but I'm assuming they're a much smaller company. We can look this up.
Yeah,
but people will always talk about like during the Wii U phase. Yeah, Nintendo is very spiky. And during the Wii U phase, people were always talking about like, is Nintendo even going to survive? But they've got so much money in the bank.
What?
That, like,
Dude, you can see my jaw dropped.
Is Nintendo way bigger?
No. Nintendo had from the fiscal year 2010 to 2018. Nintendo had a total of 5,500 employees. Yeah. 5,500 employees. Dude, Cactus Club has 5,000 employees, and no one in the U.S. even knows what that is.
Is that a Canadian-only company? Kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like they're a pretty lean company, and they've got billions in the bank. And people will be like, "Oh, Wii U's doing bad. Is Nintendo gonna die?" It's like, no, dude. I can't remember what the stats are, but there's something like if Nintendo just immediately stops selling everything now and keeps their capital expenditure at the same amount and just makes no money at all, they could survive for like 100 years or something. It's like, you guys, they're doing all right.
It seems like a natural fit because their products are always so bold and risky. Like they don't, when they launch the Wii, they have no idea if people are gonna like it or not. Yeah. And same with the Switch, it's completely out there. It seems like you better have some money for a rainy day.
Yeah, and they do. And then they've done really well enough times that they've just got all this money that they can sit on and keep taking risks, which is cool. It's one of the reasons why I love Nintendo.
That is cool.
Someone is Cactus Club? What is It's just a Cactus Club. It's just a restaurant in Canada.
Hold on, I'm gonna get the numbers. I'm on Wikipedia now, and it confirmed 5,500 for Nintendo's employee number. Intel 106,000.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like drastically different style companies, I think even Nintendo could drop that billion and be completely fine.
I think IBM has 800,000 if I remember correctly. No, 380,000, that means there's more people in the world working for IBM than holding Icelandic passports. There are fewer Icelanders than IBM employees. There might be some overlap there. I wonder how many Icelandic IBM employees there are. Hit us up on Super Chat if you're an Icelandic IBM employee.
Toss us some of that old school computer money.
Yeah, give us them that Model M money.
Yeah.
From the north.
Are we done this topic?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on.
I think so. We did it.
I think did we talk about the 22 nanometer stuff?
Yep.
And the stock changes?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're good. Yep. Moving on. Amazon has an anti-union video that has leaked.
Allegedly. Because it only sort of leaked. It sort of leaked. So Gizmodo broke the story.
Okay.
And they say that they obtained a video from anonymous sources. They posted screenshots at Gizmodo, but they did not post the video themselves because they say that if they post the video that it would compromise the people who leaked it. So they themselves have reached out to Amazon to ask Amazon to publish the video.
That's not gonna happen.
Correct. And also it's kind of fishy because
that is fishy.
It's kind of like political then, because Amazon has its enemies.
Oh yeah.
Like in business and in politics. So
that's interesting.
Okay, let's just unwrap what this is. News site Gizmodo has obtained what it calls a 45-minute union-busting training video. So Amazon uses training videos all the time, like cartoonized animated videos to train management and lower-level employees and everything.
Yeah.
Allegedly, This video was produced, I think, by Amazon and then sent to team leaders of Whole Foods last week. And Whole Foods, of course, is owned by Amazon now. They sold them, or Amazon bought Whole Foods for $13 billion last year. About a year.
$13.7 billion. Whew.
Less than WhatsApp was worth to Facebook.
Yeah.
That was 16. So the video's narrator states that the video is specifically designed to give you, the manager of Whole Foods, the tools that you need for success when it comes to labor organizing. So
I'll go over some of the other stuff that it also states. It also says we are not anti-union, but we are not neutral either. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
That means you're anti-union.
Yeah, pretty much. We do not believe, quote unquote, this is not me saying this, quote unquote, we do not believe unions are in the best interest of our customers, our shareholders, or most importantly, our associates.
Meaning employees.
Yeah.
Associates are employees.
Our business model is built upon speed, innovation, and customer obsession, things that are generally not associated with union. When we lose sight of those critical focus areas, we jeopardize everyone's job security, yours, mine, and the associates.
So the video provides some background on the National Labor Relations Act, as well as showing some like different warning signs. So if you are a manager at this Whole Foods and you see any of the following, you might have a potential union like unfolding in your hands or about to erupt. So warning signs such as use of words like living wage and steward, distribution of petitions and flyers, associates raising concerns on behalf of their coworkers. That's a big one. Or even more blatant, wearing union t-shirts, hats, or jackets. Workers who aren't normally connected to each other suddenly hanging out together.
Don't make friends with people that you're not already friends with, okay? Jeez.
Any other associate behavior that is out of character. That's a little police statey.
I try to make it so that people at Full Plane are friends because I want everyone to be friendly. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing.
Well, if it comes from the top, then it's not a warning sign.
Right, okay, good call.
The video then asks managers to listen to 10 hypothetical employees and select whether their remarks constitute a warning sign or an innocent interaction. So and then they talk about what you're allowed to speak, what you're allowed to say to employees that is legal. So apparently, basically anything goes. There's nothing really unlawful that you can say in regards to unionizing, but they still give you some guidelines, such as you would never threaten to close your building just because associates joined a union. But you might need to talk about how having a union could hurt innovation, which in turn could hurt customer obsession, which ultimately could threaten the building's continued existence. Potential organization are supposed to be escalated. Oh yeah. So if you see this happening at your store, you're supposed to escalate this to human resources and general managers immediately. Quash it, nip it in the bud.
The video itself does not appear to be publicly available online, as we already spoke about.
I tried to go to Live Leak and stuff like that. It might be on now. This was like 5 hours ago, but
yeah,
it doesn't appear to be available.
Gizmodo, like you already said, asked Amazon to publish the video. And yeah, basically the rest of it is just what was already spoken about. So you have a hot take.
I have some problems with this.
Okay.
Full disclosure first. Unions are awesome.
I think one of those lights just died.
Sometimes they're really, really important. When you need a union, you need a union. I'm not anti-union at all. But I'm also not pro-union. It depends. In an ideal world, there'd be no unions, because in an ideal world, every employer would treat their employees really well. Now, the fact that this story, when you read about it, like I had to really scrutinize this article to figure out, like, oh, this is actually talking about Whole Foods. It's not talking about Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Because it only says that like in one place near the top and one place near the bottom, and the rest it talks about Amazon's track record of like people peeing in bottles, or Amazon.
Yeah, there's been some pretty brutal news out of Amazon.
Yeah, and everyone knows Amazon sucks in that way, or has, and
especially if you're a low-end employee.
Yeah, and
low-level employee.
That they dodge paying taxes, and that they like kind of strong-arm the cities that they operate in to give them favorable like subsidies and tax exemptions and stuff like that. So they're really focused on on benefiting the customer. They're obsessed with the customer at the expense of other things like employee happiness.
Else. Yeah.
But this is about Whole Foods. And Whole Foods has its own CEO, and I guess ostensibly like its own practices and stuff. I don't know how entangled those two companies are, but that's just one thing I wanted to keep in mind. Obviously, it would definitely be the case that Amazon, just like other big retailers like Walmart or whoever, Target, who have been scrutinized for this in the past, it would be really bad if they had their workers unionized. I don't think it would be that bad for Whole Foods. It'd be worse for Amazon if they got their workers got unionized.
Yeah, because I think a lot would have to change. I have only ever personally been in one union.
I thought you were gonna say in one Whole Foods.
I think that might also be true. There's a Nature's Fair near here, which is essentially the same thing. I've been in there a bunch of times.
That's like local, though, right?
Yeah.
Did you like working in a union?
No, I freaking hated it. But I may have. My problem is that I've only worked in one, and my case was relatively unique, I guess, where I worked at a bread factory. I worked at Canada Bread Factory.
You're a wholesome guy, very wholesome. You're a whole wheat.
Oh, yeah, we made some of that. By the way, basically all the bread in somewhere like Walmart all comes from the same spot and is made the same way and just gets put in different bags. It's great. Anyways, I used to work there. We were all in a union. It was a whatever union where like it oversaw a bunch of different types of workers.
Yeah, like where we live, there's the BCGEU. It's the biggest union, and then that covers like everyone from prison guards to firefighters.
Yeah. This wasn't that one, but it was a different form of a similar thing where it's a bunch of different disciplines. And our union guy, I guess the steward from reading this for our factory, was a expletive. I hated that dude.
You hated him.
With everything I've got. I had to pay union dues when all I'm trying to do is make money to go to school. And this guy was just a big jerk. And none of the people, I didn't know a single person that worked there that liked him. And there was nothing we could really do about it. The people above him in the union that we tried to contact wouldn't get rid of him. So we had like the same problem that you would have with like some jerk boss. But it was just within the union. And I had to pay him to be a jerk to me. And I was like, this freaking sucks.
Do unions ever go away? Like once they can
I don't know enough about it. I don't really personally want to comment too much on this because I really don't know enough about it. I just had one singular bad experience and I haven't been in a union outside of that, so I really don't know. I do know from like history that there's been multiple times where unions were absolutely necessary.
Completely.
To solve a giant major problem.
But then do they ever go away after that's solved?
That's the thing I don't know. I know quite a few people that don't like them. I know quite a few people that do like them. I know my experience sucked. Yeah.
I worked for a union and it was sweet for me because I made more money than I should have. And that was great.
Cool.
I have a friend who's in a union. Again, he actually is a correctional officer, prison guard. And it sucks for him because the pay raises are completely just like regimented. It's not like you kicked a lot of butt this year and you're going to get a sweet pay raise. It's like, well, you worked here this long and they're renegotiating the union agreement this year and we're all going to get 6% raise. And that raise, by the way, that they're fighting for isn't for your particular job. It's for, like what you said, a cross-section of different industries, and everyone who fits in this bucket's getting this same raise, even though you've got to deal with people stabbing each other and stuff.
One of my problems was where I worked. When you got hired, they had you do a super basic math test, and the super basic math test was good.
There's 24 slices in a loaf, and then 5 loaves.
Basically, they're trying to see like how smart are you, because there's a position called bun packer. That was great, where you pick up stuff off a conveyor line, you grab it, you turn to the right, you put it down, you rotate back, you grab it, you turn to the right. You put it down.
Your body get all deformed.
And that's the whole job for 8 hours a day. So like that job can be done by anyone, but then there's like the mixer who has to like put in the ingredients, and that's a little bit more specific. And there's the people who like pack the trucks, and you have to put the right amount of carts of the right amount of stuff on the right trucks. And there's like slightly more advanced jobs. So
you're a bun packer.
Well, everyone starts there regardless of how well you do.
Did you ever leave the bun packing?
I did. Yeah, I got moved up really fast, and the union head didn't like that. Ooh. Because the non-union guys got to pick where you worked, but the union guys picked your hours. So because I went up in position really quickly, the union head just screwed me. Not in terms of he gave me really low hours, but he would just wreck me. Like he'd shift me at like the worst possible times, and he'd always have me as like the emergency call guy. So he'd be like, be there in 15 minutes. And he'd call me as I was trying to go to bed because it was purely on call, and I was just like, oh my god. And he made my life hell for an entire summer. So I don't like that whole.
And then they have all those things like promotions based on seniority and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's been here 20 years.
I don't care.
That's because he sucks.
Yeah.
He has nothing else. He has no other prospects. Everyone else good left.
So yeah, I don't know. I think there are situations where it can be bad, and I think there's situations where it can be good. And I have no idea for Whole Foods.
Okay, well, here's my this is my tinfoil hat hot take.
Sure, yeah.
Can you get the screenshot up from that article?
Yes.
So, if you open up the Gizmodo article, they've got some embedded screen caps from this alleged video. Just go to the first one. Just go through it.
Just give me a sec, guys. I'll bring it up.
We're going to go on a journey here. Actually, that's the screenshot that I want.
I'm still going to go here because it'll probably be bigger. Yeah.
So,
we might as well give them credit. Living wage grievance contract representation? Is that what that last word is?
I want to go to the tips one.
Tips?
Yeah, there's this one. Okay. Tips. Remember, managers, tips. If you see someone trying to organize, just remember T.I.P.S. Threaten, interrogate, promise, and spy. I have a hard time believing that any company...
That sounds so fake.
That is so egregious and outrageous that if that's true, that's crazy. But it's just so outrageous that it can't be true. And then I see that and I'm just like, is this whole thing fake? Does this video
wild.
even exist? Because that is just over the top. Threaten and interrogate? Come on. As if.
Promise? Promise what? So, like, and are they telling you to lie? Because what are you supposed to be promising?
I guess that's what that means. But promise is the nicest word in there. But can you imagine
spy? Like all of this stuff.
The executives are telling the management, like sitting down the team leaders at Whole Foods, which is like...
Threaten and interrogate your employees.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way they said that.
That doesn't sound real.
Come on. So I think it's fake news.
I wonder if they got sourced something that seemed super legit and then they just believed it.
It could be, man. The Russians.
That throws me off a lot, to be honest, because that sounds really BS.
That's weird.
You know what? This interrogate thing made me think of one of my employees. How's it going, AJ? He was mentioning in French, the question mark, it translates to interrogation mark.
Oh, interesting. Well, there's a...
Every once in a while, he'll say interrogation mark when he's talking about question mark. I'm like, that's so intense.
Yeah. It's a weird translation. There's an obscure form of punctuation that is a mix, but you know how when you want to ask a question intensely and you use a question mark and an exclamation point?
Yeah.
Well, there's a one unified notation. It's called an Interrobang.
I have heard that phrase, but I didn't know that.
Yes. There's actually a really good episode of 99% Invisible about it. Interrobang. There's
what is 99% Invisible?
Oh, it's this awesome design focused podcast. Yeah, you should show everyone. It looks pretty cool.
It does look cool. I'll bring it up.
There's this dude who championed it and tried to make it happen really hard.
Wait, so is it a thing or no? Is it officially recognized notation?
Interrobang. I guess it's not on the keyboard. It ain't real. Kind of looks like a really powerful P.
It could be an alt code thing though. Interrobang alt code.
Oh.
It has a Unicode.
Yeah, boy.
Interrobang is not a standard punctuation mark.
Wow.
Few modern typefaces or fonts include a glyph for the Interrobang character. The standard Interrobang is at Unicode code point U+203D.
Are your sponsors?
RIP. Yeah, sponsor time.
Is that Pink Panther?
That's
what is
Bond.
That? Oh God.
Savage Jerky. They
yeah
gave us some mojo jalapeno hot sauce.
Can I hold something?
for now, because that's almost certainly going to come home with me and never come back.
You saying Mojo? It's
Mojo.
not. It's not Mojo.
No.
It's not Mojo Jalapeno.
I said Mojo forever, and then we got very much corrected by the Twitch chat, and they're apparently correct. I looked it up.
What does Mojo mean in Spanish?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up. I know what boho means.
What does boho mean?
Bohemian. In the Pinterest world. Mojo, Spanish, pronunciation M-O-X-O. Well, I'm not gonna try that. Yeah, it's
sauce.
Yeah, it just means some type of sauce.
Okay. We have ghost pepper, buffalo sauce, and sriracha bacon and original jerky here. And he's got mojo jalapeno, which is so far my favorite jerky from Savage Jerky in sauce form. So I'm super excited to try that at home because I'm definitely going to steal it. It's not coming back unless someone tells me to bring it back, in which case it will immediately come back. Their jerky is made with the best ingredients, without nitrates or preservatives, with the goal to create a snack that is full of flavor and spice and isn't bad for you all at the same time. They have 13 different flavors, which goes on top of the ones that we have here.
I left this world for a second there. I'm like Pavlov's dog right now. Jeez.
They also include things like sriracha bacon, which I have here, and maple buffalo bacon, and many others. They also make barbecue sauce, hot sauce, and spice rub, like the hot sauce mojo jalapeno that we have here. Their Carolina Reaper hot sauce uses one of the hottest peppers in the world, which is pretty crazy. We don't have...
I've tried the jerky, and
it's pretty brutal.
It's an experience.
I think I did the last show that Linus was on. I ate one just nonchalant without telling him, and he didn't notice. So I was pretty proud of that, because usually I like sort of die when I eat it.
I remember it was the first WAN show I was ever on. I tried it and I tried to play real cool, and you're just sitting there and then suddenly like your pupils fill up with liquid. It's like, I'm cool.
Everything. Yeah, it's
There's
rough.
this blood coming out of my ears. But like, it's not that hot, dude. It's like it's pretty normal.
One thing coming from someone who enjoys spice, I like spice, but to a limit. Like once it gets past my limit, it becomes not fun.
That's everyone in the world, dude.
No, there's some people that enjoy the pain.
Oh,
there's absolutely people that enjoy the pain.
Masochists.
I think my dad is one of those people, because my dad will eat any hot sauce ever. He will like taunt people at restaurants where there's like Indian heat. You order something at an Indian restaurant.
Is this spicy?
As
is it white people spicy?
Yeah, yeah. And if you're like
spicy?
very hot, they'll be like, all right, I'll give you a medium. He'll taunt them.
Yeah.
So that they'll like intentionally spike it even harder, and he just loves it.
But then if they come out and he's sweating and he's like dabbing and he's like, then they win.
But he also wins. Like he wants that. My dad's crazy. He also
my dad's a freak.
He'll also just pop jalapenos and not react at all, because he's just a machine. But anyways,
his mouth is just dead. It's just like a callus. I've lost all
hot sauce callus. He has calluses for everything else.
I've lost all sensitivity in my mouth. It makes me cool. That's like why everything that's an acquired taste in life is just...
So it's bad.
Yeah, it's like coffee, cigars, olives, whiskey.
Olives is an acquired taste?
It was for me.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't like olives.
That's
I like
true.
them now, and I get them, and nobody eats them, like at parties and stuff.
We're getting off here. I'm gonna switch off this for a second. I love olives, and to like a point where it's a character fault almost. When I was a kid, my mom used to buy canned olives, and like the neighbors and my brother and I would, like the neighbors' kids and my brother and I would all sit down and like play a board game or something, and I'd just grab a can of olives and just eat the entire thing, and then when I was done, I would drink.
Oh.
And it drove people insane, but I didn't do it for that reason. I actually just really liked it. But anyways.
But wait, I have an olive story.
Okay.
I had a party once, and we're all eating olives, and and then this one friend of mine was like, we're just commenting on olives and blah, blah, blah. And it was at the stage where I was just getting into them. Wasn't sure if I liked them or not yet. And my friend was like...
This sounds so hardcore.
He was like, we had an olive tasting.
Party.
I had a flight of olives. And he was like, I think eating olives is like kind of erotic. And then everyone was like that. I was like...
Okay, I never got to that.
Everyone kind of just went silent. It was like... Okay. Moving on. Like, I'm not holding it against them. Like,
no, I mean,
maybe it is. Whatever. I just hadn't had that thought, and it was just.
It's a very non-offensive thing to be into in that way, but like, geez. Anyways, moving on.
Freshbooks.
I mean, if you want to like sell olives or anything else, like services or anything for that matter, you could use FreshBooks. It is a super simple to use invoicing tool that actually does a lot more than help you create and send slick looking invoices, which is a great feature in its own. It helps you track your time with their timesheet function, manage your expenses, and it keeps track of who owes you what. Also has a feature that tells you when your clients look at your invoice for the first time, which is a big deal. And their mobile app has all the functionality of their desktop version, which is cool. So you can take FreshBooks wherever you go and not lose any features, which is super annoying. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to their support staff where you'll speak to a real human being. No phone tree, no escalations, no return calls, just straight up answers. Visit freshbooks.com/WAN and enter WAN in the How Did You Hear About Us section when you sign up for a free trial. Very cool. And last but not least, honey.
Honey, honey. You are my sponsor spot.
I don't know the next line.
And you got me wanting
you. I do. I use honey all the time, actually, personally. That isn't even like I don't have to say that. I just do. It's pretty sweet.
The ingredient or the sponsor?
The sponsor.
Oh, okay.
The only time I ever use honey, the ingredient, is in like chamomile or ginger tea because I'm sick. But anyways, moving forward, you've probably heard us talk about honey before because they've been a sponsor of the show before. But if you haven't, it's a free shopping tool that finds the best promo codes whenever you shop online at specific sites. So like when you go to a site and you're in the checkout section, when it finally shows the box to type in a promo code, honey will be like, hey, I think I might have a few codes for this.
Every time you read out this spot, I'm like, why don't I have this?
You should probably try it. It's pretty
so
sweet.
stupid.
And you just press the button and it goes through an automated thing trying a bunch of codes. And sometimes it'll be like, hey, none of them worked. Sorry. And sometimes you'll get a pretty sweet code. I've saved a very notable amount of money. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like I've saved a decent amount of money using honey.
That's sweet. Because
and like if you think about it, if you've ever gone shopping for something and then you get to the checkout section and you see a promo code box and you spend like 5 minutes on Google going to a bunch of sketchy websites.
I've done that.
Trying to get promo codes.
I've done that, and then I type them in, and then they never work. They're all expired.
With honey, it actually works quite often.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of the sketchy stuff.
It just
handles all of it for you. And you don't have to copy and paste a million codes. It just chugs through them as fast as it can.
Way better.
And it's going to know when the codes fail for you and update its central stuff. And try to always have up-to-date codes as everyone attempts different codes.
Surely the service costs tons of money, though, Luke.
It's free! For those of you that
Tim Allen-like.
try it out, it's a free browser extension available on Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Saves you time, saves you money when you shop at over 30,000 stores. Honey works on Amazon, eBay, Newegg, Razor, Best Buy, Walmart, and more, including Skip the Dishes. I've had it work there quite a few times. Honey gets a small amount of commission from sites where Honey saves you money. There's also quite often Honey-specific discount codes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how that will work.
Nice.
And they'll get like a affiliate style
partnerships
thing,
there.
Yeah.
Good business.
So they
sense,
make
honey.
money off of the places that you buy stuff from, not off of you, which is cool.
Get that honey money.
And I understand why they explain that, because I think that helps with some of the skepticism, because it sounds too good to be true, and then you're like, oh, okay, they're just making money.
They're like travel agents.
A different source. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. It installs in just 2 clicks, which is sweet. It says Colton, Brandon, and a few others here at LMG have used Honey to save money shopping online. And yeah.
Do what Colton does.
Go to honey.com/Linus. And you got it. Boom, done.
Here's a fun thing I did today.
Yeah.
This one. So there's a new Facebook vulnerability that Facebook announced. Facebook engineers have discovered a security issue affecting almost 50 million accounts.
Hey.
Attackers exploited a vulnerability in Facebook's code that impacted a feature called View As, and that's one of those features where you look at your page as other people see it. So like LinkedIn has that kind of thing.
It's actually a super cool feature because it lets you see. Sorry, I thought I saw someone in chat, but it's someone with like a parody name of them. It lets you see your page as that person. So if you're trying to hide things from people, you can pick someone who fits within a category of your privacy settings, check it out, make sure it's all hidden properly.
Yeah, so there was a problem though, because so what happened was it's like an interaction between multiple different features in the Facebook code. So It stemmed from a change that Facebook made to their video uploading flow, which affected view as. And that change to the video uploading flow was in July 2017. That's a pretty long time ago. That sucks. So Facebook issued this this post that they had fixed the vulnerability and informed law enforcement, including the FBI. And they said all these things that they like, here's what we did because we care about your security so much. They reset the access tokens of the 50 million accounts affected. The access tokens are like those, they're like digital keys that allow you to not have to type in your name and password every time you enter your browser or navigate around. And so this exploit like got the keys so people could screw you. And so Facebook, they reset the access tokens to like 50 million accounts that were affected, and then they took the precautionary step of resetting access tokens for yet another 40 million that they thought like they had been subject to a view as lookup in the past year.
Some overlap there, but I have heard from a person. I haven't talked to many people about this yet, but in the small group of people that I have talked to, I have heard from a person that they had to re-log into Facebook on all of their devices.
Well, here's the fun.
Like
this
last
is the
night or yesterday.
This is the fun thing I did today, because when you, here's what I did. I went to my phone, and I went Facebook, and I got this, and Facebook Messenger as well. Session expired. Please log in again. Which means I either was compromised. I'm either one of the 50 million or one of the 40 million.
Yeah. And you don't know which one.
And then it says that once you log in again, you will see on your news feed a notification at the top that explains what happened. Damn it.
Yeah! I didn't get logged out on anything.
Dang it. Instagram as well. Ugh. Facebook has yet to determine whether these accounts were misused or whether any information was accessed. They don't know who's behind the attacks. They don't know from which geographic region the attackers hail.
I mean, you can probably guarantee that in some way it was misused. Like, they're going to try to harvest some form of information. I don't know what it's going to be.
What if they just made funny posts? Like, they just made Luke's status.
LOL, I hacked this guy's account.
It's Luke's status. Don't you hate when your finger punches through the toilet paper? Everyone, ew, Luke, TMI.
Why would you post that?
I did it!
And I have that like extension on my computer so I can't see my news feed. Have you heard about that?
Oh, no, but I like the idea.
No, it's great. And it puts like an inspirational quote where the news feed is, or where I don't know what it's even called, the feed in general, not necessarily news because it's your friends' posts and stuff. But yeah, I exclusively use Facebook for chats and groups.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I just banned the feed, so I wouldn't even know if I.
Do you have that on mobile?
Weird. No, but I just don't go to the Facebook app on mobile. I just only use Messenger.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. They should get it for Instagram, but then that would get rid of the entire app. God.
Bye, Instagram. I guess you could see like stories and PMs.
Instead of an inspirational quote, they should give you a nihilist meme.
Just a direct feed from the nihilist Arby's Twitter.
Yeah, just the inevitable end of the universe is to heat death.
Yeah.
This is nothing matters.
Nothing that you do matters because it will be deleted by the sun. Anyways, so that's scary. If you got logged out of all your stuff, just a heads up, someone had access to your account.
May have been pwned like me.
Yeah.
Facebook, by the way, says you don't need to update your password.
Because it was access token based, not password based.
So you don't really have to do anything.
They didn't forge the key to the lock. They just walked around the door. That's how I describe that security style.
Cool.
Because some people talk about like, oh, like I have a password that's 100 characters. This account is invulnerable to everything. I'm like, no. Because if they find a way to just not have to use the password.
Yeah. Or if you give it to them.
Or, or that, yeah.
Did you follow the Disney Fox Comcast thing?
Like, pretty much not at all. We've talked about it a little bit.
Let me give you a 10-seconder.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like it's been evolving over the summer. There's these really big players that are all trying to acquire each other because there's a giant race for streaming platform and where you're gonna watch your TV next. So let me give you the TLDR.
Hold on. Zeke D did a super chat. Sorry, I'm new to this stuff. I don't know the YouTube streaming stuff. He said, "You guys are awesome."
Oh, that's us.
That's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High
Heck
five,
yeah.
dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Nice.
Also,
Rip headphone users.
float plane for the win. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. By the way, Zeke, Floatplane has a new payment system, which is cool. And there's now
No Bitcoin though.
No Bitcoin. And there's now Discord integrations from floatplane.com to Discord.
What does that mean?
You can have your account sync up. So it's a general thing. Any of the creators can do it. I haven't told Tech Deals or Bitwit yet because we're still testing things a little bit and making sure it's a little bit more cleaned up, but theoretically they could turn it on anytime. But there's still some work to do before it's perfect. And it makes it so that if you join that creator's Discord, you get a special role saying you're like a subscriber to Floatplane or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get granted access to a chat. I don't know how the creators want to decide to use it.
They get to implement the perks as they want.
Yeah.
So much freedom. The land of the free is Floatplane.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah. It also has a notification feature, so it can like post links to new videos as they come up into the Discord and whatnot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because you're just hanging on Discord anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the timeline from the whole
Thanks, man.
auction drama. There's a ton of auctions to buy stuff. It's actually kind of interesting. Okay. Fox was for sale.
Okay.
Like 20th Century Fox. Or wait, is that different than Fox?
I
think that's a subset of Fox.
I'm going to cut you off for one quick second. We got another crazy super chat.
Good
I have no
God.
idea what this is worth, but it's 1,024 SEK.
Is that that's not Singapore, is it? What is SEC currency?
They said olive review channel on Floatplane. Heck yeah, dude.
Oh, it's Swedish krona.
Nice.
Nice. How much was it?
1,024 from
That's $150.
rules.
Canadian.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Floatplane supporters. Okay,
Sick.
sorry. Let's get back to the.
Okay, Fox was for sale.
Yeah.
Disney wanted to buy it. Disney's making a streaming service, and plus they also own a large part of Hulu. So buying Fox gets you a lot of sweet shows over the years, like Family Guy and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
That they could put on the streaming services. So Fox wanted to.
Firefly.
So there you go. Disney wanted to buy Fox. Comcast was competing with them to buy Fox, and they had like a bidding war. And in the end, Disney won, and they acquired Fox. But meanwhile, Fox owned 39% of this European network called Sky. And obviously, both of these companies, Comcast and Disney, want to be in Europe because they want to expand globally. So while Fox was for sale and being bid on by Disney and Comcast, Fox itself, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, was trying to get 100% stake in Sky, or at least a majority stake in Sky.
Or wait, Comcast was?
No. Fox owned Sky, or owned 39% of Sky.
Fox owned 39% of Sky.
And Fox was trying to own it wholly, so that when Fox was bought, whoever bought it would also get all of Sky. So in the end, between Disney and Comcast, Disney won. They spent more than they wanted to, and they got Fox. But they didn't end up getting Sky because when Comcast did not win the bid to get what?
Go.
When Comcast did not win the bid to get Fox, they started bidding on Sky, and they actually outbid Fox on bidding on Sky. Does this make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So now, so then Comcast owns part of Sky, and Disney, because they bought Fox, they own part of Sky. And in the end, Fox was just, or wait, no, Disney didn't get it. It ended up not being part of the deal. And then Fox was just like, screw it, Comcast, you can have all of the Sky. So now, at the end, Disney owned Fox, Comcast owned Sky. There's no more partial ownership.
Okay.
There you have it.
That was a mess. Not your explanation, just everything that happened there was crazy.
It's pretty
the
interesting.
amount of back and forth.
Pretty
that
interesting
happened.
little dance there.
I'm surprised Disney gave up on that because they've been just chomping things lately. I'm surprised they were just like, no, we're taking that 39%.
I don't know how that works. Because the Disney deal I thought was just going through so much earlier that I don't know if this had an effect, that they ended up changing the price that they pay for Fox because they thought that Sky was going to be part of the Fox deal. Crazy. Hold on, what's the sale price here?
Okay, hold on. You guys need to recheck the caption on the Amazon Gizmodo article. You got the T.I.P.S picture wrong. People are flipping out.
Oh, really?
Let's look into this.
Thanks for the tip.
Oh, don't want to report the wrong thing.
No.
Um,
Bob Swan. Bob Swan.
Bob Swan.
Okay, we're navigating back now.
We are.
You gotta go to the original source though.
Yeah.
Gizmodo. What is the? He says the caption. That's right under it. Tips are the tactics Amazon advises management not to use.
Pretty big important difference. Oof. So, oof. Okay.
Okay, well now I'm just gonna shift blame to Gizmodo.
Well,
because that screenshot is really incriminating and defamatory, but they don't actually. I don't believe they address it in their article, except for this little caption. So I think that's a little misleading. But yeah, let's own up. We didn't read the caption.
yeah.
Obviously, they don't want people interrogating and spying.
How's it going, dude?
Hey, you guys call it super chats?
Cool.
It's hard, but sometimes.
We did 2 super chats.
Hey, no problem.
Colton's yelling at us.
Are we supposed to?
Love you guys.
Dude, you know how many Kronas we're getting?
How many?
We're rolling in Kronas. Over 1,000.
Woo!
Yeah.
Swedish Cronus.
Not bad.
Look that up.
I will.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't see any like main.
Oh my god.
I didn't do anything.
I like the look.
What actually just happened?
Are we still streaming?
Did someone turn that
Oh,
off
God.
remotely through the app?
People, please.
The squid.
Oh, it's dead. So that means the camera's off? Oh my god.
The cat. Whoa!
Anarchy.
This is anarchy ensues.
Are we streaming?
We are streaming and the camera's on. You can
Yeah,
see.
somebody else.
You wouldn't be able to see that.
Oh,
Oh,
I like
Very interesting.
we got a little bit of light.
I like this low-key look.
Thank you, Zach F, for the heads up that we screwed up
Oh.
that part. I don't personally see them really talk about this T.I.P.S thing in any of their mainline stuff, but we absolutely should have read the caption regardless.
That makes a lot more sense. That,
does make
that
a lot
they
more
say,
sense.
Don't threaten, interrogate, or promise or spy on your employees. That makes sense.
Because we did talk about how they were talking about things not to do.
Got a phone call from the dentist here.
Nice, that's important.
Just gonna let that one ring out.
Yeah.
Don't have a voicemail anymore. That's a little update. I don't know if I ever talked about that on WAN show, but I talked to Linus about it. Because he was saying, you know how you get these notifications for voicemail and they just don't go away? You can't clear them.
Yes.
I hate that. I absolutely hate it. And then you go to check your voicemail, and if you're someone like me who doesn't pay MSP until, because it just comes off your tax return anyway, so there's no reason. Anyway, I always have a full voicemail. And then, so Linus said that he had a colleague in the past, I think at NCIX, who said his voicemail was literally, hi, this is the voicemail of blah, blah, blah. Do not leave a message here. Email me or send me a text. Do not leave a message here. And I thought, that sounds like an okay thing to do, but my voicemail is always full of scams and of MSP who's going to leave a message anyway. So that wasn't going to work, so I just got it completely removed and my life is better.
All right, there you go. I just do direct withdraw.
On MSP.
Yeah, because I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Ever.
I did that before, I think. But
Whatever.
whatever.
I like your style too, though. I think one of those two are probably the way to go.
Evade.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay it or dodge it.
Well, you're still paying it eventually.
It gets paid.
Yeah, you're still paying it eventually.
You have to.
Anyways, yeah. So sorry about that inaccuracy. Thank you for checking us on that.
Thank you very much.
But I'm happy that's fixed now.
Was there more super chats to read?
Probably. Are we like how much? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I guess we've been going for almost our allotted time. I don't know how to check the super chats though. So
Can you talk to me about this PlayStation cross-platform playing? Fortnite's the first game you can play cross-platform from your PlayStation.
yeah. So here, you talk about that. I'm gonna try to figure out super chats.
Okay. Well, I'll give the notes, but I actually want to hear your take on it.
I will comment on it. As
Cool.
You go.
So finally, Sony Interactive Entertainment says it has identified a path towards supporting cross-platform features for third-party content. So the first step is going to be an open beta, which is on now for the game Fortnite, of course. that will allow cross-platform gameplay, progression, and commerce across the PlayStation 4, Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and Mac operating systems. I think this is weird. Like, aren't you just gonna get pwned by people with keyboard and mouse?
I think to a certain degree, I think people almost don't care.
But in a battle royale, where like if you're the third one left alive and then you get wrecked and you're just gonna be like, you're gonna rage quit and you're gonna, that guy definitely has a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to queue cross-platform and a way to queue not cross-platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder that as well, but I couldn't find any
if
information on that.
Because I would still like to be ability to play with my buddy. So like if my buddy has a PS4 and I for some reason wanted to play Fortnite, I'd like to play with him. I think it would probably make sense if we had to queue for the PC queue.
Yeah, I think it would be segregated.
Because you'd have to bring up the... I don't know how to say this.
Just
not
say
as
it.
Tactile experiences.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to queue with
you'd
a
have
friend...
to buff them.
Yeah. Well, not. You'd actually have to hurt them.
Or nerf the other ones.
Yeah, because you wouldn't. It would be kind of brutal, I think, to bring a PC player into a console-only environment.
Yeah.
By inviting him to your group.
But if you're
so
gonna
have to go the other way.
Oh yeah.
It would have to bring up someone. It's like it's your decision to queue with a PC player, so you have to go play against PC people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to play mobile Fortnite, I don't know if this is a thing. Probably not.
It is.
If you want to play, well, no, but if you want to play mobile Fortnite with a PC player,
yeah. Aren't you just
I
gonna
think
get
you'd
so
have to.
wrecked? So, and the thing that's interesting is that the game developers are pushing it for this for a
I
long time.
I have no idea what like the Fortnite cross-platform queuing stuff is. I'm just saying that would make more sense to me.
Game developers, not just of Fortnite but of other games, have wanted cross-platform for a long time because they just want more and more people to play their game. But obviously, the console makers like Microsoft and Sony, they have the opposite incentive. They want people to be siloed. So I wonder if you're playing and you're getting wrecked by someone with a keyboard and mouse, and you really care about the game. You're thinking, well, I gotta switch to PC because I want to kick ass with a keyboard and mouse. Do you think there's a...
Fortnite will already queue keyboard and mouse apart from controller unless you're grouped with friends. So they're doing this.
So you can be on your PC on a controller.
Well, yeah.
But the game recognizes that, and that's how they...
Oh, that would make sense, I think. Because there's no real advantage there.
Yeah.
A little bit of frame rate.
Or like hertz, like refresh rate.
Yeah.
Stuff. But yeah, okay, that's cool. But do you hear what I'm saying? Like if I'm playing and then someone wrecks me with a mouse and I'm like, why am I playing on console? I'm just gonna move to PC and then I'm no longer a Sony PlayStation customer.
I don't think that's really gonna happen because if they're already splitting the queues for controllers and keyboard and mouse unless you're in a group, then the only reason why you're being brought to play with other people with keyboard and mouse is because you're playing with one of your friends.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that are going to be in that niche group and then also care enough to buy a whole nother platform is going to be really small.
You've also already got the sunk cost of you bought your PlayStation already. So maybe on the next gen, you don't buy the next gen, you buy PC instead.
Maybe. And I think PlayStation is making Sony people happy with this change.
Mm-hmm.
And is honestly, they might open the door for a lot more people to buy PlayStations. Because if someone's like, yeah, I only play on freaking PC because my friends play on PC, and I want to play a bunch of the really good single-player experiences on PlayStation, like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, all these really good single-player experiences, they could buy a PlayStation and still play with their friends. It won't be an optimal experience.
Or you're playing on mobile, and you want to get more into it, but you can't afford a gaming PC, get a console.
Yeah.
Still play with your mobile friends.
I think it's a very good move for PlayStation. I'm very happy with it.
We don't know right now what the future holds for other games other than Fortnite getting this. They haven't announced that at all. So
people are also bringing up that you can keyboard and mouse on PlayStation. It's not the same, but yeah. To go through some super chats. Someone asked, is LTX... I'm not going to go through all of them, by the way, but I'll do...
But we will thank and acknowledge all of you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're super.
I'll go through some notable questions that I can actually answer. Is LTX going to be around mid-July next year? I don't know exactly. I don't want to say a definitive thing, but I suspect roughly, yeah. I suspect it would be somewhere around that area. I don't know if it'll actually be mid-July, but like,
Yeah. Someone, if you're booking off time,
yeah, if you're booking on time, don't.
we don't even know which country it's gonna be in right now.
Yeah, to be honest.
Who knows?
But like, it'll probably be summer-ish. So yeah. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much.
Pat myself on the back for that. Olive review.
Olive review. Heck yeah.
All right.
Olive's my dudes.
I'll be doing that. It'll be we'll put it on Steam. We'll make an uncensored erotic story game about olives.
There you go. There you go. Someone said, Luke, any plans for mobile apps for float plane? Absolutely. There's some other stuff for us to tackle first, but yes. And I think that's about it. We're gonna end the show there. Thank you very much for showing up. We'll see you next week on the WAN show. And whoop.
That's it?
Yeah.
What about this part?
I mean, they're seeing this part right now.
Me.
They can hear us.
What am I gonna do? I'm running out of sounds
Someone
here.
needs to make a super cut of like all of your.
Sit down.
Thank you, Savage Jerky.
Thanks, Savage. Jerky. Freshbooks.
And honey. Honey. Do 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 do. You were my favorite extension.